Welcome everyone. Now we begin with Python fundamentals. So as discussed in the previous class, what is Python? It's a high-level programming language created by Guido van Rossum in 1991. Many times students feel that Python is a new invention. No, it is way back. 1989 the work started on Python, and Python was formally announced in 1991. It is open source and freely available programming language, right? Python is aptly known for its simplicity and readability in clean syntax. In the last class we had seen that how to write one line code, the first line of the code in C++ may take 7 or 9 statements to be written. Python, it is just one line, print on a hello world. So it's a very clean, readable, and Python is known for its simplicity. It is interpreted language, no compilation is needed, and it is portable. Portable means it is highly platform independent, where you can run the same code on Windows, Mac, Linux, so on and so forth, right? And Python comes with very extensive library support. Being uh, open source, it has a huge amount of library support. By the way, the word Python, many times people say the Python is for the snake, but it is not for the snake. This Guido van Rossum, he was a great fan of Monty Python, the web series. And below you see in the corner this, all these Monty Pythons sitting there, and they're jumping around. And later on, environmentalists may be hooked on to this Python, and our snake Python came to represent language Python. But it is the word Python goes for this Monty Python series. My suggestion is that ek do part Monty Python ke dekhi lo online. It's a very funny series. Okay. Why Python? Python is a large ecosystem of scientific and engineering libraries. The libraries like NumPy, SciPy, Pandas. There are books on books written on these libraries. In our central library as well, you will find multiple books on NumPy. Book on NumPy library of Python. And then a lot of other libraries which are good in other software or packages, they are also imported here, and they are written because it's open source. A lot of code is being generated. One such library is matplotlib. Plotting is fantastic in Python. We will go in the plotting section later, but this library literally means MATLAB plotting library, which is rewritten in Python as an open source library. Python supports multiple programming paradigms. It is object-oriented programming, procedural, functional. All these paradigms are supported in Python. Python applications. Python stands for numerous applications. Let it be data analysis, scientific computing, or automation, prototyping, machine learning, many more things. With the rise of AI, ML, artificial intelligence and machine learning, Python and R, they just picked up, and people felt that, oh, Python is a new invention, but no. Python stands the test of the time, right from 1990s to 2025. Almost these 35 years Python is there in the market, very stable. Here is the progress of Python, how the various versions evolved. We will see that. So these are the advantages and disadvantages. Okay, Python advantages: it is interpreted language, no compilation is required. It is interactive, line by line you can do the running of the code. It is object oriented and highly beginner friendly. Okay, it is very friendly language. If you begin with Python, you may end up thinking that programming is easy, and your thinking is right. Programming is easy, and especially it is easy when you go ahead with Python. Python talks about 360 degrees of application. Let it be text processing, web browsers, games, software development, so on and so forth. You can do damn anything literally in Python. Although we are discussing the advantages of Python, needless to say, C++ and Java and JavaScript. These three more languages also all of you should know, right? Python you must know, but these three other languages are also important. Now there is something called as a Zen of Python. What is Zen of Python? Being Pythonic. That means there is always a grace and style when you do programming in Python, right? So go to Colab and write this. Here you see import this, right? Here you see import this, and here you will see import this. So you write the command import space this, and what will come is called as a Zen of Python by Tim Peters. What is Zen of Python? Is Python programming philosophy, and these are beautiful statements about how the code is to be written in Python. You will say beautiful is better than ugly. Yeah, right. The code should be beautiful. Explicit is better than implicit, means that you should explicitly tell that this is this, then and then think that, oh, program will anyway come to know this must be this. Okay, so explicit is better than implicit. Simple is better than complex. This is Python philosophy. Simple is better than complex, but complex is better than complicated. Okay, flat is better than nested. Readability counts. Okay, and then you just go through this. Will not take the time up here, but this is called as Zen of Python, being Pythonic, having the grace and style of Python programming. So this is how the Python invention and evolution. Here Python was invented by Guido van Rossum. He's a Dutch programmer from Netherlands way back in 1989 when he was at CWI Netherlands. And later we have the different versions of Python there coming up. The first version of Python was was proposed in 1990, and then it was 1994 Python 1 was available. So the initial version 91, you have the introduced classes, execution exceptions, lists and dictionaries, and then Python 1.0 1994 they added with the functional programming tools. Complex number support was also given. Module system was introduced in Python 1. Python 2 was introduced in year 2000. Okay, year Y2K. There's a list comprehension, garbage collection. Garbage collection means it is all about the memory management. So Unicode support and major libraries that we see, that NumPy, SciPy, Django, they were made available in Python 2. Now Python 2 is also very famous. In fact, I was just explaining the other day. IIT Bombay has very wonderful initiative where they have solved most of the engineering textbooks or reference books and their problems using Python, but they have used Python 2.0. Right. So because Python 2.0 was pro that time, it was prevalent that time. But now when you go to their website, you have to change from Python 2 to Python 3. Now the most stable version of Python is Python 3, and this was introduced in 2008, and it completely revamped the language from Python 2 to Python 3. New syntax were introduced, a little bit of changes were done, and better Unicode handling, improved the readability for the code. And now whenever you want to use those Python 2, you have online tools available which will convert Python 2 into Python 3. Okay, so those tools are also available. So this is how Python was invented, and this is what the evolution of Python from 1990 to now 2024 what we have. So currently it is Python 3.0 is what we are going to use and what is available. Python 2 is very sparely used, only to modify maybe the old written oldish code kind of a thing, something like that, but make sure that it is Python 3. So here are the Python features. We had seen this previously. It is easy to learn, very simple syntax. I joke, like, if you can eat, you can code in Python. If you can speak basic English, yes, no, hi, hello, this kind of English, if you speak, you can still code in Python. Python is that simple. Okay. Then the Python uses indentation. What is indentation? Means just to the block of the code is written with certain we will see that in a couple of slides later, which makes code very readable and very understandable. Python has limited keywords. Such a versatile language. Python just comes with 30 keywords that we will see, and it is very beginner friendly. Okay, so whenever somebody is studying in, say, the first language Python, they will be extremely happy with the language. The second is, so Python is easy to learn. This one feature of Python. The second feature of Python is it is dynamically typed. That means in most of the other languages, whenever you are typing something, say declaring a variable, you have to first declare the variable. Say you want to say a is equal to 5, you have to say int a is equal to 5. Python no int a. You just go ahead and say a is equal to 5. Python understand it's an integer, and no need to specifically declare the variable out of the way going, right? So this is how Python goes ahead with. The type determination, the variable type determination is done at the runtime. Okay, so it has its own beautiful advantages. Then it is interpreter based, that is it goes ahead with line by line execution, and therefore it becomes very easy for debugging and no compilation is required. It is interpreter based language. And Python is very interactive. Okay, Python will give you immediate feedback. There is a read, evaluate, print loop, what is called as REPL environment. And this is very good for testing, and especially good for larger codes where the code execution happens line by line, right? Next, other features, this is multi-paradigm. This Python supports object-oriented programming, procedural programming, functional support is available, huge libraries. This again we have seen NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, math modules, batteries include. Batteries means there is like a huge Sena of library, Pulton of libraries available for you to just include in Python. Okay, and they are just available. What is library? Library means user-defined functions, pre-functions to make your life and programming easier. This is called as library. For example, if I give you 10 numbers 1 2 3 4 4 4 2 3 1, and I tell you that now find out mean of this, median of this, standard deviation of this entire set, and variance of this, then you will use the formula mean is equal to addition of all numbers divided by an n, and you will find out mean, you will find out median, you will find out standard deviation, finding out. But what the library does, the library will define that mean functions, median function, and all you have to do is just call that function from the library and your life is simple. Python has huge library support. Python is known for the libraries. So Python will make your life extremely simple. Why so many libraries? The one reason is Python is open source. So anybody wants to contribute, and people want to contribute. They want to contribute, they will just go ahead, write a code. This is my code, use it like this, and it just becomes available, freely available to everyone. Python is cross-platform. It runs on all operating systems, and you can just run it on mobile, tab, laptop, OS, the Windows OS, iOS, Linux, anything is okay. Python just runs anywhere and everywhere. Okay. Now let us see the Python features. GUI applications, very friendly. Database connectivity, Python has connects with all major database, SQL, NoSQL, it goes on well. And Python has very active community support, right? It has a large developer base, regular updates are available, python.org, and there is a huge corporate backing. Google, Microsoft, Meta, they have their major chunk of a code running on Python, and they have there is a huge community support available. You have any doubt, any problem, just post it on Stack Overflow or any of these communities, and you will get your answers really very quickly. Okay. Now there is always an invariable to compare Python with C++. Okay, of course, now C++ is important, C is important, Java is important, JavaScript is important, and Python is very important. Why Python is very important? Because I am teaching Python, you are learning Python, you are important, I am important, and then Python is important, right? Okay, needless to say, execution, Python is interpreter based, C++ is compiler based, right? Typing system, that Python is dynamically typed and C++ is static, it's a fixed typing system. Portability, Python runs anywhere and everywhere. Okay, right? Python will run on your mobile also. C++, it is system dependent, and certain changes are required in the code based on the system that you have. Python is memory management, it is automatic memory management, automatic cleanup, and for C++ it is manual cleanup, right? Syntax, again Python, there is no comparison to Python. It's very simple, very readable. C++ or other languages, they will make it, because Python has made it so simple, automatically everybody has become complex. Okay, otherwise they are, easy languages as such, but because Python has just made it so simple, others have become complex. Okay, again, but here I want you to love Python, and the purpose of this is not to hate C++, because at one point of time you will have to read C, C++, Java and JavaScript. Okay, so these four are must along with Python. Speed, Python is slower. So if you ask anything about it, then it is just about speed. Python just goes little slow and C++ is faster. But then again, you can make Python also quite fast. based on using certain libraries and using certain other vector functionalities. And Python is mainly used for machine learning, web designing, data science, so on and so forth. And C++ also reasonably can be used in many of these purposes. Okay, so this slide is to make love Python and love Python. Okay, loving somebody doesn't mean that hating someone else. So you should not be hating C or hating C++. No, that is not the point. Okay, these are also important language. Why? Because companies say if you go to Berkeley's bank and then they have their entire code in C++, and because Python is great, you are great and you are a great coder, that doesn't mean they are going to change their millions of lines of code simply because you have arrived or I have arrived. No. So we have to fall in line with whatever the pre-existing code. Millions of lines of code is already written and companies will go ahead with that code. And okay, so this is the Python and C++ comparison. Next one. Now we'll come to some of the basic core stuff in Python. Python identifiers. What are identifiers? Identifiers means they are the names given to variables, functions and classes. They are called as identifiers. Okay, what are variables? Variables, we are just going to define variables in a minute. Okay, when we do our lab 1, where we are going to solve around 6 problems in the lab 1. So there we'll define certain variables. So functions we will see progressively in this class. What are the classes? That also we will see progressively. So the names given to these variables, functions, classes, or special names, private items, or like key or password, those things, there are certain conventions that we follow. So what are the rules? The rule is that the name should begin either capital A to Z or small letter A to Z or underscore. Okay, so this is what we are reading is this one. Must start with the letter A to Z, small letter A to Z, capital A to Z or underscore. Okay, it can contain numbers after the first character. That means you can have a number like student 1. You can, that this is okay, but you can begin, the variable cannot begin with 1s. That is not a variable, right? Okay, you cannot use special characters. Okay, ampersand, dollar, you cannot use the special characters. And Python identifiers, they are case sensitive. Case sensitive means name is not equal to n capital name. Okay, so these are two different variables or two different functions if they are defined so, because Python is case sensitive. To make life a little more standardized so that the coders can use other codes very well, and because you work in one company and somebody else will replace you, you go on promotion, and the fellow who comes and he is going to sit on your code, he should also know what you have coded and not give you a lot of gali. So what we need to follow certain conventions of programming. Okay, apart from being Pythonic, Pythonic is thought level. These are on the direct tip level. Okay, so the classes, their names will start with uppercase. Other items, their name will start with lowercase. Like class, if you are defining student as a class with different the features of that class, then S capital. Other items, small s, student dash name. If you are asking some private information like password or something like that, generally you begin with underscore. If you are asking very private information or want to store some very private information in your code, then generally you will use double underscore, underscore, and you are asking key or something like that. Okay, or some very specific KPI, KRA or something like that you are asking. And for the special names like President of India, so on and so forth, it should begin and end with underscore. Okay, so these are the naming tips for Python identifiers. Generally, this is how Python identifiers are named, right? Rules we have seen. Here are the 4 rules, and here are the naming tips. Okay. There are Python reserved words. Reserved words means, like every generation have their own words. Like you have the word like OMG. OMG, everybody knows what the OMG means. Or IDK. IDK means I don't know. Everybody knows I don't know. IDK is I don't know. OMG, everybody knows. And then you have many other veg, non-veg kind of words. Okay, right, we'll not go into that. So these are called as reserved words or keywords. Python also has keywords. What is a keyword? Keyword means when you use that word, what it's supposed to do is already predefined, right? Like such words are required in control flow statements, if you are using logical operators, functions or classes if you are defining, in error handling, import related things, or some special constants. So these are called as keywords, and there are 30 keywords. Mind you, such a huge programming language goes with just 30 keywords, 30. So these are the keywords. Now mind you well, these words cannot be used as variable name or the object name or the class name. Okay, you cannot use these words as the Python identifiers. These are only the keywords. So here are the keywords: if, else, elif, while, for, break, continue, return, pass, and, or, not, true, false, in, is, def, class, lambda, global, non-local, try, except, finally, raise, import from, as, with, none. 30. Okay, so take a breath. So these are how to identify. Python makes it simple. Again, when you, now here we are back on Google Colab, and when you are writing a keyword, and if you use keyword, the keyword will be always coming as purple, or depending on your system, they will have a different color altogether. They will be light blue or purple, and this is not the, this is something sorry, which is already being defined in Python as is reserved in Python. So if I say write a code, if is equal to 15, else is equal to 35, import is equal to 10, and class new variable is equal to if plus else plus import, my answer will be it is, because it is line by line execution. If it will come to if is equal to 15, it will say invalid syntax. Bhaiya, syntax badal do. If you cannot use, if you can use if underscore 1 or something like that and make it different, but you cannot use the if, as because it is a reserved keyword. Okay, so these are the 30 keywords reserved in Python 3.0. Python 3. So now next we come to the point of indentation. What is indentation? Indentation means to make your life simple, the block of the code is written with certain convention. That is called as indentation. Okay, so simply adding space, like whenever you are reading, if I have a book and say any other book, and if I take a book and want to read something from the book, say I generally end up teaching something like numerical methods, advanced optimization, advanced optimization techniques, so on and so forth. So if I open a book and if I see a paragraph, what will happen is before beginning of the paragraph there will be some space left. Okay, some one tab, tuck 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 will be left. That is called as indentation. Indentation means to make your life a little more simpler, to make you tell that, oh, something new is happening, a new paragraph is beginning, a new code block is beginning. We do indentation. Indentation means generally it is done with four spaces. Space bar you have, okay, right? So 4 spaces, tuck 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 tuck, or tab, one tuck tab. Okay, tab is equal to 4 spaces. Then when you do that, that becomes indentation, and your code will be written that way. Okay, so of course you can use 2 spaces also, but don't make a mess that use 2. We'll see that in the next slide. 2 space somewhere, 4 space somewhere, 3 space somewhere, and you say that solve the problem. No, you have the same indentation. The standard practice across the Python world, it is 4 spaces, tuck 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 tuck, or one tab tuck. Okay, I'm making it tuck sound so that it ticks with you. Okay, right. When to indent? When you use indentation, okay, after a colon. Okay, we will be seeing this as the course moves on, but whenever you see colon and then below line will be generally indented line, and many of the IDEs, they will have, when you say colon, the next line automatically is indented, and unless you close it, it goes on that way. Inside the functions, inside the loops, for and while loop, inside if else statement, inside classes, all we use indentation. Okay, this is the reading convention to let you know that a new code block is beginning, and this block has to be used accordingly. So here is the example. So example here, you see if age is greater than 18, colon, if is used. Now here you indent. Okay, indented with 4 spaces, right? You indent with 4 spaces here. So this is, we are done with 4 spaces here. This is the space that we have, 1 2 3 4 tab, or one tab, or 4 spaces. Print adult, print can vote, and whatever you want to print, if age is greater than 18, and you should vote. Okay, luckily it has come, can vote. Voting is coming and you should vote. It's a celebration of democracy and you must vote, right? If you are in a position to vote, if you are already a registered user, please do vote. So this is a good code. Now what we see as a bad code here, if you see this as a bad code, because if age is greater than 18 and there is no indentation here, and right, and then what you do again here is then again you use two spaces and you said adult can vote. This program may or may not run. Most likely it may not run as well, but if it runs, you are making the life of other fellow really a hell. You just don't know where the code is starting, ending, what is the block. So using indentation is here, using these four spaces here and making a code very neat and clean is very important. Okay, right? Why Python uses indentation? Yeah, this makes the code look neat. It forces one to organize your code, organize your writing. It becomes very easy to read, and it will automatically reduce your coding mistakes, right? So use the text editor, generally use the tab or 4 space bar to have this indentation, right? And then we use the quotations. Python uses all three quotations: single quote, double quote, triple quote. All are welcome, but only thing is that make sure that you begin with same quote, end with the same type. So it is single quote, double quote, triple quote, triple quote. You don't that begin with double quote and end with triple quote, and you are just breaking your head. What is the problem? No, begin with the same quote. Okay, right? So these are the quotations in Python. Next we come to comments. Comments is last two slides. Okay, comments is there are two types of why comments are used, because it will help a programmer to understand what's going on. When you yourself, when you are visiting your code sometime later, you will also know, Are Baba kya likha tha, what is going on, that you will be aware. So there are two types of comments. Single line comment, chota comment likhna hai aapko, little smaller comment if you want to write. I am asking here your age, and then you write that one line. So single line comments will begin with hash. So use hash to start a comment, that is single line comment. So as soon as you write hash, Python will ignore everything after that hash in that line. That line is completely ignored, and it will just come, the execution will just come to the next line in Python. Okay, when you write hash. If you want to write a huge love letter to the next programmer, then you want to write multi-line code. In that case, what you have to do is that you have to use triple quotes. Tuck tuck tuck, write your letter there. This code is about this is about this. This company is very good, but I got a promotion, I went to this, I studied these courses. What you want to write, right there, and close your quote with again three quotation, tuck tuck tuck. Okay, when you do that, then only your this will be counted as a multi-line comment. If you begin with tuck tuck tuck, three quotes, and if you don't close, or everything below that will be taken as simple. Again, it will just go as a quote itself. Okay, it will not be executed, it will not be run, right? So this also we will see when we are doing the lab session. And that's it for now. So thank you. Do subscribe to my channel, and be here every week. I will be posting one important video to learn Python happily, and thanks a lot.